It's a very interesting and unique sort of love story, and there's something about the narration that really, really grabbed eyeballs and made me want to say yes to this film in the first place. I can't unfortunately get into specifics, but it is not your typical story of boy meets girl. There is a social media angle. There is a forced sort of, I would say, set of circumstances, which is why the two characters have difficulty in meeting, but that does not stop them from building a lovely connection. And I feel in 2025, a lot of Gen Zs and all the youngsters in particular will deeply be able to identify with the message that we are giving through this film, as well as the entertainment we are providing through the film. I think with great power comes great responsibility. I think technology, internet, social media, all these things are wonderful tools. But if you let it become the be-all and end-all of your life, then definitely there's going to be a problem. I feel there's unhealthy extra focus in today's day and age, be it as an actor in the industry, be it as even a general common man. We are too interested in seeing what's happening in other people's lives. We have become too voyeuristic by nature. And I feel it's important sometimes to just switch off, tune out, and go and experience the real world. Have face-to-face conversations, go take a walk in the park, play a physical sport, just kind of, do things that we used to do. Because luckily for me, I grew up in an age and time where, of course, there were rapid innovations in technology, but at the same time, I had the parvarish of the 90s kids. So I feel that is what has changed today. I see all these boys and girls, these youngsters and all, and everyone's just stuck on their smartphone and iPads and their laptops. And I'm like, guys, firstly, you're going to get a crick in your neck, and secondly, you're going to stop viewing the world. Right now, we are so busy in capturing the world around us that we are forgetting to experience it. It's been a bit of a rocky start, the first couple of years in particular. Yes, there was a fair amount of enthusiasm at the very beginning, but that did not necessarily translate into a very grand launch. And I was always very clear that whatever choices I make should be my own. Chahe wo failures ho, chahe wo successes ho, whatever it is. I never wanted to I wanted to never call up my mom or tell her, listen, please call so and so person and mujhe break dilwa do and all. That's not the way I am. For me, even now, it's very important. Like I don't really go out of my way to say who I'm related to, even though I'm very, very proud of my mom, because I want it to be my journey, just like she had her journey and she continues to have her journey. First 2-3 years were pretty rough. The films didn't do well, and when you are front and center mainstream hero and the films don't do well, suddenly you get placed in box office jail because no producer, and it's nothing personal, but they don't think you're a viable commodity, so they don't want to back you as a leading man. And that's when the doors of OTT really opened up for me. I got Inside Edge. Again, I had auditioned for it and I got it. And all of a sudden, after the success of the first season, the entire perception of me as an actor, not as someone's kid, as an actor, changed almost overnight. And I think my rise on OTT was parallel with the rise of OTT in our country as a whole. So I think it's important, along with talent and hard work, to be at the right place at the right time, and it depends on your naseeb, on your destiny. I actually had the good fortune of meeting two stalwarts from the industry. Of course, this is only because of my mom. The first two people of repute that I met from the industry, one is just down the road, the great late Mr. Yash Chopra. I got the opportunity to spend a good 45 minutes to 1 hour with him at his office. We spoke a lot about films, about his journey, about my hopes and aspirations as a budding artist, and it was an hour of my life I will never forget. I will take with me till my dying day. And the second was with Amir sir. I remember back then he was sitting on the post-production of Dhobi Ghat, and somewhere here only, nearby. And again, like, he was very candid, and of course I can't reveal what all we discussed, but it gave me a lot of insight. So I was very fortunate. As I said, there are definitely certain perks being related to someone from the industry, because out of goodwill from my mom, they agreed to meet me. But that doesn't translate into work. If you're going to be result oriented, you are setting yourself up for failure and for disappointment. Because if a film does well, you will be disappointed that it didn't do too well. If a film doesn't do well at all, you will be disappointed that, oh my God, I worked so hard. I lost so much weight. I didn't meet my friends. I made so many sacrifices. Still nobody came to watch it. But if you're focusing on the process, and I'm only looking like one step ahead. I'm not seeing what is there at the end of the room. And that has held me in good stead because I don't care what has transpired. I don't care what the future holds in store. When I reach the future, it will become my present. As they say, past is history, future is mystery. Present is a present, present is a gift. और अगर आप present पे focus नहीं करोगे, then at the end of the day, you will never be happy. It's like never ever let success go to your head, but at the same time, never take failure to your heart. No matter how dark the night gets, it will be sunrise tomorrow. There will be night. There will be morning after this dark night. So that's what she's always told me. Oh, that was really funny. I actually thought I was going to audition for a film with Sunny Leone, and it turns out it was a film with Sunny Leone. And I was really confused. I'm like, why am I auditioning for a film with Sunny Leone called One Night Stand? I mean, what could I possibly be doing in that film? You know, like, yeah. But then I got, as they say, Shakespeare said, what's in a name? I got it wrong. I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, think she's one of the nicest, most gracious, most professional human beings I've met, not just in my career, I would say in my life. And there's a lot to learn from her. I've also had the good fortune of working with her not just once but twice. We also hosted Splitsvilla together last year. So we kind of met after many years under very different circumstances where we were now hosting and roasting all the contestants. And she's fantastic. And how her husband Daniel has been there, stood by her like a rock. And her team, her core team has been there for her and she's there for them. Is really heartwarming to see. They form their own little ecosystem, their own little mini industry, and they're all family to one another. And there's a lot to learn and imbibe, you know. So it doesn't really matter to her what the outside world thinks because she knows what her reality is and what she has achieved from where she began to where she is today, and God willing, where she will be a few years from now is nothing short of staggering. See, firstly, you need to give the audience a good enough or big enough reason to step out of the comfort of their home and watch a movie. Secondly, the theatrical windows are way too short right now. If I know that a film is going to be out on OTT in the next 2-3 weeks, why will I want to waste my money and time and effort and go to a theatre? Thirdly, it's just too expensive. The tickets are too expensive. The popcorn's expensive. I recently went for a movie and my wife and me had gone and we ordered one of those popcorns and it cost us 750 rupees for freaking popcorn. I just feel that definitely needs to be reassessed because, you know, see, when you watch films at home, it is a singular experience on OTT most of the times. But when you're watching films in a theatre, it's a community experience. So you will always take your family, your kids, your wife, your mother, your father. So it just becomes extremely expensive. And most important thing is, we have to address the elephant in the room, the content that we have been consistently churning out over the past few years, especially post-pandemic, has just declined significantly, if I may add so. You know, we need to have more faith in our own abilities than sequels and prequels and, you know, remakes of South films or foreign films. We need to start thinking how we were earlier. You know, I feel 90s and early 2000s were a golden period for Hindi cinema, and I feel it's time for us to go back and draw inspiration from ourselves instead of drawing inspiration from other industries. You know, I like calling it the Indian film industry. I don't think we should be bound by the language. You know, like, I mean, let's face it, Pushpa, technically dubbed film, has gone and made more than 800 crores in the Hindi belt alone. I'm not even counting what it made in the other belts. It just goes to show that if the product is good and if the makers and the actors have made it with thorough conviction, and there can be no more conviction in a film like Pushpa, audience will come. So I'm all for it. Even Rana Naidu has got predominantly a cast from South, but yet look at the acclaim that the first season got, and God willing, so will the new season. So I'm all for this, you know. I think India is such a rich and diverse country and so many different cultures all coming together. So I love the fact that a lot of our stars from here are now going down south, and, you know, you've got people from all over the place coming, and I hope it continues and becomes a lot more. I feel as a star kid, of course, you do get, like, if someone like an Excel or a Dharma or a Yash Raj is launching you, you will definitely get a fantastic launch. But what you make post that is entirely up to you. You choose your first film chooses you. But after that, your second film, your follow-up film is extremely important. You know, if you want to have a long innings over here, if you want to be, as they say, a lambi race ka ghoda, then you have to consistently work on your craft, make really interesting decisions, which may sometimes be frowned upon, like log kahenge ki yaar, but why would you want to do this? But you see, the guys who thrive the most, two cases in point, Ranveer Singh, Ranbir Kapoor. Yes, they're mega stars. Yes, they're superstars. But at the core, they're fantastic actors. You look at the kind of work that Ranveer and Alia do in those ads, where they're playing the different characters, right? If I'm not mistaken, Make My Trip or one of those, yeah. It's fantastic. They're playing characters. Amir Khan, even today, when he comes in all the Coca-Cola commercials and all the other commercials, he's playing a character. So you need to be able to act first. Then the world is your oyster. Industry is not going to react to any of this because it's an industry. It's a business. Everyone salutes and prays to the rising sun. And हर एक का एक वक्त आता है. You never know, it comes out of nowhere. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, up till very recently, nobody would even speak about Bobby Deol, right? And now look at him. When the stars shine, when it rains, it pours. It's as simple as that. So instead of being caught up that, why is nobody talking about me, or मेरे साथ ये ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है? You just put your head down and you just keep working. You give your auditions, you meet people, you take care of your fitness, you take care of the way you look, you work on your skills, you work on, as an actor, you have to be jack of all trades. So that's what I always hope and try and aspire to be. And you never know, yeah. You'll get one project and everything changes. See, I'm human, of course. There were dark days. There were times when I felt I was not good enough. Even now, I mean, sometimes, like you have these fleeting thoughts, ki yaar, is this the right line of work, or maybe, I don't know. And then you'll see some work that you did, or you'll see some acclaim that you got, like not too long back, and you're like, like if you didn't have it to start off with, these people would not gravitate towards you in the first place. So you have to have that faith in belief in your own abilities. You have to be there for yourself. You have to be your own best friend. नहीं तो कोई किसी का नहीं है यहाँ पे.